morning everyone, and welcome to another episode of my Airbnb business. This is part of a Rich production and you're watching Richard Jones. So guys, what's it take to be an Airbnb Superhost? Well, from experience I've been a Superhost now for over 2 years, and this is the 3 criteria you need to become one. So number 1, you need to have an overall score of 4.8 out of 5. That is the equivalent of 90% overall rating. So number 2, you've had to have completed 100 nights occupancy within a 365-day window, and you also must have taken at least 3 reservations during that year. So number 3, you can only cancel up to 1% of all your reservations. That's the equivalent of 1 in every 100. So here's a few tips into how you can achieve those 3 points above. So firstly, you need to make the guests feel really welcome. You need to be a tentative Airbnb host. That means messaging guests before they arrive, after they've left, and during the stay. You also need to think about putting maybe welcome packs out and just going that extra mile just to make those guests feel that little bit extra special. So that's the first thing I would suggest. My suggestion for occupancy is to see what other Airbnb hosts are doing in the area so you can match their pricing, maybe even undercut them. You can also put out some minimum stays down to say 1 or 2 nights if you're struggling to get lets on the places. And also you can look at putting in some special offers, so last minute breaks, early bird specials. We'll talk more about that in other videos, but you can basically market yourself to get those bookings through. My final point is how to minimise cancellations. Well, for one, you never really want to cancel guests because that means you're going to lose money for that booking, so try and avoid it as best you can. Obviously sometimes things happen, boilers go down, electrics trip out, whatever, and it's not your fault, but it's also not the guest's fault. So the first thing you need to do is you need to reason with the guest. You need to message them and explain what's happened and why they can't stay at the property on that particular date. Normally 9 times out of 10 the guests are pretty understanding and they'll reschedule the booking. That doesn't cost you anything, it doesn't cost them anything, and it also means you haven't then got a 1-star review from a cancellation. So that's the first suggestion. If the guests are still wanting to come and you can't host them yourself, they need to look at finding alternative accommodation in your area. And let's say it's the height of the summer season and there's nowhere available for them and you can't host them because of whatever reason, then you need to contact Airbnb support and then they'll deal with it for you. If they're understanding, they may well deal with it and not give you a 1-star review, especially if it's not your fault. But worst case scenario obviously is that the guests are disgruntled, Airbnb aren't happy because you cancelled the guests, and you end up with a 1-star review. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on how to become an Airbnb Superhost. Stay tuned for more videos like this, and please hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the other side.